Rich in dense mountainous landscape, the beautiful town of Luang Prabang is situated in the northern region of Laos, in Southeast Asia. Founded on Buddhist principles, Laos retains much of its ancient culture and heritage, with traditional beliefs and values still practiced widely today. Decades of neighbouring conflict, however, has crippled its economy, and with 33% of the population now living below the poverty line, the average life expectancy in Laos is only 48 years of age. Many parents, particularly those who have lost a partner, simply cannot afford to raise their own children. Because of this, many children find their way to orphanages, such as Deak Kum Pa.
When I visited Luang Prabang and first came to the orphanage, that was when I decided to get involved on a personal level and to do a little bit of fundraising. In an incredibly short amount of time, we've already raised enough money to build a new dorm, which is one of the most needed projects here for our accommodation for these kids. Since I was here in April, there's been an extra 57 children arrive at the orphanage, and there's simply nowhere to put them. They have merely put up a tin shed at the end of a dorm, and the youngest children are sleeping there.
When I found out Cobra Supports is sponsoring this project, I didn't know too much about, obviously where Laos was or the situation in the country. It's now becoming quite apparent as to what's going on here with the children. But there's basic necessities, there's basic things that we take for granted that they don't have. It's not that they're moaning about it. It's just this doesn't have to be the way that it is. And this is what we're there to do, is to be able to help give these children that start and just the basics that we take for granted.
These are the most beautiful children you could ever meet, nothing but happy smiles. They've had a very unfortunate past, often losing both parents, but they don't dwell on that. They are very happy to live each day as it comes, and are very special children, very easy to help these children.
The other key projects that the orphanage are working on and desperately need is water. It's very dry here, it's very hot, there's no clean drinking water, so they're looking to dig wells.
We visited the shower blocks. We saw children having to share a bath with 100 other kids. The water's disgusting.
So one of our initiatives was to install hand basins and soap so they could wash. But the most important thing was to educate them, because for a 6-year-old child without parents, very difficult for them to understand, why should I use soap? Why should I even wash my hands after going to the toilet? We went out 5 or 6 times around each class and explained why we actually wash our hands and what's the benefit and how it helps with our stomach and our whole digestive system.
We sat in classrooms this morning where the kids obviously loved what they were doing and loved what they were learning, but had no pens and no paper. They didn't even have the bare necessities. One of the key projects that we're working on is to teach the kids English. In a country that has a strong and fast developing tourist market, speaking English is their best opportunity for employment, but also for future education. We've spent time with the kids while they've had lunch. 517 kids are preparing their own lunch over open coals, cooking their own rice, and then serving it amongst themselves, and this is their only meal of the day.
We really need to increase protein in the diet. And because a lot of the children are very small for their age, a lot of the 12-year-old children, they look like they're 8 or 9 by Western standards, because they just haven't grown. They've hardly ever had protein in the diet. The real challenge is to get a sustained balance in their diet so that these children can grow up healthily.
And probably one of the strangest things for me is seeing kids walking around in this heat in winter clothes, long-sleeve jackets, long-sleeve pants. But it's because they're the only clothes that they own. They don't have any other changes of clothes.
These children, have nothing. The predicament that the orphanage faces, obviously, is clearly that without funds or without money, there's over 500 children that can't be fed every day, can't be looked after every day. What I do know in this particular case with the orphanage is that every pound you donate will go a longer way. Innocent children that, don't eat more than once a day or don't really have much of a life are given the opportunity to be able to make something of themselves and their lives.
Is it important to give? Yeah, we've seen the amount of money that's available in this country. It's very limited. The government don't do anything near enough for these children, and literally by people putting something small aside, that's what's going to make a difference. We can build new windows, we can have new doors, we can have new dormitories for very little money, and the impact that's going to have on a child's life will be absolutely incredible.
These are very genuine people with a very genuine need, and hopefully in 5 years I'd like to look back and think, this orphanage is now self-sufficient. They've got good education standards, they've got good hygiene standards, and what we want to do is really give them a future outside of the orphanage.
You know, only when you're here watching children, playing with them, hanging out with them, and genuinely seeing exactly what's going on gives you a massive, massive awakening. And reminds you what a genuine difference your money can make. It's an incredibly empowering feeling.
This is a small charity. It's not a government-funded organisation. There's no middleman, there's no administration charges. For every dollar that people want to give to this orphanage will go directly to the kids, and it really will change their lives. So for those of you, again, who have supported, I want to say thanks. And for those of you who want to get involved, I really do welcome you.